back to all of our Emperor Champagne Club members, and I have to say we have the most exciting month. I know you say that I say that every month, and I do, but my God, they just keep getting better and better and better. We have found two amazing maisons to bring to you this month, and I'm in the warehouse, so if it's a little bit noisy, bear with me. It is a working warehouse. We are here to introduce you to two exclusive maisons that are coming out to our club members all around Australia. Now, firstly, coming out to our lovers, and I have to say, they're both amazing champagnes, and if you're only getting one champagne a month, you're crazy. You should upgrade to get them both because they are so exceptional and you don't want to miss out. Coming out to our lovers is Champagne de Helene. Now, this champagne is exclusive. It's the first time in Australia. It's a young gun winemaker by the name of Pierre Hugo. And he comes from a really long line of winemakers. In fact, the maison dates back to 1891. And the story starts with Helene and her husband Georges. Helene was in the Côte de Blanc, so the coast of white, where they're really famous for Chardonnay. Her husband was in Aï, where they're famous for Pinot Noir. They started the house together, but by 1910, war had struck. Georges was commissioned to go after the war, as many of the men in Champagne were. Helene remained behind running the estate. Now, Georges eventually returned from war. He was tired, he was psychologically damaged, he was defeated, like many of the men that had to battle. You know, the war really struck right at the heart of the Champagne region, but Helene held up the heart and the soul of the house. Georges' father was actually the chief winemaker of the very famous house Perrier-Jouet. And Georges was asked to go in and take on the position of chief winemaker at Perrier-Jouet, and Helene said, no, you've got to stay in the family estate. He wanted to sell the estate at some time. She also said no. And now coming down generation on generation, we have a young man in her honor who has rekindled the estate. They were previously selling fruit to the Grand Marques. His debut release was last year. This is his second release on the base of 2018, the first time it's been in Australia. And let me tell you, if you're going to debut a champagne, this has got to be it. This is a knockout. So what we've got is a Blanc de Blanc, so all Chardonnay, Grand Cru, highest ranking vineyard parcels. It is old vine, and you'll get a lot of this information on the bottle. So make sure you turn it around and have a look, or read your data card. So Villevin, old vine. The older the vines get in the vineyard, you get lower yields. So then they're working to produce those grapes, but they're getting more intensity. So you've got less fruit, but more intense fruit. You've got 6 years aging in the bottle, so a phenomenally long aging time and a very low dosage, about 1.5 to 2 grams per sugar. An incredible champagne. And I've got to tell you, there's a lot of humdrum, there's a lot of talk about Pierre Hugo in the market. So a real rising star of champagne, and its debut in Australia and his second release, which is very exciting. Coming to all of our champagne lovers. Very exciting. 3 Grand Cru sites. So top of the pops, you've got Cremant, you've got Cuvees, and you've got Auger. Chardonnay doesn't get better than this. Coming out to our connoisseurs. I'm so excited. I have to say, I'm loving seeing this fresh take on champagne branding. For so many years when I worked in Champagne, everything was so traditional and so boring. We lacked color, we lacked this diversity of label that we see in a lot of young gun wine growing areas around the world, but we're starting to see it in Champagne. This is a super cool house, Maison Lointier. Now, the family have been growers in Champagne for a really long time in the Vallée de la Marne. They're wine growers, previously selling their grapes to the big houses. They're also beekeepers. So all the champagnes are named after bees. This champagne is called Mellifera. Mellifera is Latin for honeybee. So they're growing bees on the property and they're growing wine, and it's very symbiotic. And of course, naturally the house is organic. They're very natural in their approach. They're very hands-off, and the way they make the wine is oh so cool. Now, when you are making champagne, of course, you're cutting off the grapes by hand. This house is so tiny. They release 4,000 bottles per year, and you get all of them for the Australian allocation, which is super cool. So if you're not in the club, you can't get it. 4,000 bottles per year. Cut the grapes off by hand. They press them. This is a Blanc de Noirs. So we've got 85% Pinot Noir. We've got 15% Pinot Meunier. So Blanc de Blanc, Blanc de Noir, white of red. Talking about the red grapes only in the wine. They press the grapes and then they ferment them for the first time. Now, they have a choice of vessel. You can do it in an oak barrel or you can do it in a stainless steel tank. These guys do the first fermentation in an oak barrel. It sits in that oak barrel for 11 months. There's no malolactic fermentation, so they're stopping that conversion, which most champagne houses do, where they're converting that tart lactic acid into that creamy, tart malic acid into creamy lactic acid, sorry, the other way around, which is like the type of acid you find in milk, so it's softening it. They hold that back, so they're maintaining that tart, nice acidic malic acid line. Now, where this is interesting, they're also working with clay amphora. So they're doing fermentation in clay amphora and then they're bottling. So we've got a wine that is super interesting in the way that they're producing it. 2 parcels, so 2 ludi. So a ludi is a single parcel, gland and bracelet. So super interesting sites in the Valley de la Marne. Going into this bottle, again, extra brut. So we don't want to cover our winemaking when you've got really interesting winemaking, when you've got a lot of passion going in. It's an extra brut champagne, so 1.5 grams per litre. So almost the same in terms of dosage, much longer on the lees, younger house, Mellifera, and Champagne de Helene, which are both super interesting, super cool, and exclusive producers. Let's get into the tasting. Two exceptional champagnes, but 2 very different styles of champagne. And I've got to say, I love them both for different reasons. Champagne de Helene, you've got Grand Cru Chardonnay, elegant, supple, soft on the palate, still powerful, bold, mouth-filling, beautiful feel, oodles of length, but just crisp, linear, very poised. Everything that you want in a Grand Cru Chardonnay, incredibly refined. And then to try something in complete contrast, a Blanc de Noirs, so leading with Pinot Noir, a little bit of Pinot Meunier, but the texture on the wine, you can almost feel that the wine has been handcrafted. It's got this lovely marzipan character and red fruit. It's very bold, it's very aromatic, but again, very supple on the palate. Beautiful fine bead, a lot of vivaciousness. I have to say, I opened the bottle, we might have had a wee bit of an explosion. Stick around to the end of the video if you want to see me how to not open a bottle of champagne. I just did that. Both of them exceptional, very different styles. Both of them would be food wines. You could certainly serve the Champagne de Helene with as an aperitif or with cheese or at the start of the meal or with oysters or caviar, or white fish with the meal. You've got a lot more diversity in food pairing with the Mellifera. It's got a bit more texture, a bit more boldness, a bit more oomph, a bit more crunch. I'd certainly partner that with a red meat. I think it's, or ham, salami, etc. Nothing too hot, of course, but they've both got great food pairing qualities. Both incredible champagnes. I've got to say, this is one of the most exciting months we've had for a long time. If you haven't joined already to both levels, please do it for next month. We've ordered in custom from France, and as we do, so you really need to be in it to win it. I think we're completely out. We might have a few bottles left of the Lointier. If you don't get that wine in your package this month, write to me and let me know, because you really should try it. What an amazing month. 2 incredible winemakers, a tiny allocation of 4,000 bottles a year in Champagne de Lointier, and a stunning debut from Pierre Hugo in Champagne de Helene, Grand Cru, old vines, top vineyards. This really is a knockout, very exciting. It's all the reason that I love champagne and more. I hope you enjoy both, and I'll see you on the next month. We've got another stellar lineup. Well, that was colourful.